We've been married 64 years. I was a junior transfer and came to the University of Arizona. I was in a sorority, as was my husband now. He was in a fraternity, so we were both Greeks, and that's how we met, through a social gathering.
We had exchanges between the fraternities and the sororities,
which happened to be at my sorority house that evening. The boys came over and we had a dance party that night, and I guess I danced with Dwayne. I couldn't remember, and that's not saying that he wasn't a good dancer or anything like that. It was just, when you are at these parties, there's just so many people you meet. The next day, my sorority sister was Sue Ann Dobson.
My cousin Sue Ann was in that house.
So she said, "Carol, Dwayne, my cousin, would like to meet you." And I said, "Gosh, I can't remember which one he was." So she said, "Okay, we'll go ahead and fix it, that Dwayne will come to the house. We'll stand on the balcony and look down, and you can see if you remember and if you would like to go ahead and date him." He came to the house, and Sue Ann and I were in the balcony. Poor Dwayne, he probably didn't know we were out there gawking at him.
She got to look at me then and said, I guess she found out that I was interested, and then...
And I said, "Oh my gosh, yes, I sort of remember him. He's cute. Yes, I'd like to go ahead and date him." So we had a first date. Wasn't the best date. We went snowboarding. Well, prior to that, I think what really sort of irked me, I was from the Midwest. I didn't know that people in the West wear their Levi's down. They don't roll them up. The Midwestern girls rolled up their Levi's. I went down the balcony to meet Dwayne, who was waiting down there. First thing, he said hi, we said hi, blah, blah, blah. And he said, "Are you going to go out like that?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, your Levi's are rolled up." I said, "Oh yes, that's the way I wear them." And he said, "No, they don't do that here in the West." And I thought, I don't know if this is going to work or not.
She'd never dated a cowboy or a shepherd before, so that was something new for her also.
And we continued dating after that.
But we got along all right. We dated and went to a lot of, social events there with fraternities and the sororities.
In our era, you were pinned, and that means be engaged. You get to wear your boyfriend's pin from his fraternity.
My fraternity pin, and put it with her sorority pin, so that was like being engaged then.
So we did that, and we were pinned for about a year.
And then that summer, of course, we split again. I went to summer school there in Tempe, and then back in the fall we got back together. We eloped and got married in Lordsburg, New Mexico.
Nobody knew. My poor parents didn't know. But we went back to the fraternity house and the sorority house, finished out our school years, and moved to Mesa and lived in Dwayne's parents. I think he was kind. He was a good, kind person. And he was so different, because I had never dated anybody in boots. And I think that Dwayne's lifestyle was just so easy going in comparison to how I was raised in a hubbub of a large city. He took me to a rodeo, and it was so exciting. I've never been to a rodeo before. In 1960, I had our first child, Candy. In 1962, I had our second child, Dawn, and then in 1963, July 19th, we moved from the Bell Ranch to our present home, which we are in right now, and I had our first son, Carrie. I think it was probably the move. I carried all these heavy things we were moving, and then my fourth child was born 9.5 years later on Christmas Day. I think you have to become a mother to recognize that fact, because people will say, oh, there's nothing like having a child. And there isn't until you are able to hold your child and know, oh my gosh, this is really mine. And to me, that was important, because it's just another step in your life, and it's a different kind of a step. Being a parent is difficult. You want to be their friend, you want them to just be happy with everything you say, but as I've grown older, I have recognized and realized that you can be a friend, but you have to be a parent first, because a child has to learn how to be respectful and love their parents, and there's no way they're going to do that unless they have somebody telling them no. And it's hard to say no as a parent, but I think you have to be there for them in that respect. Love is such a big word. It covers so much. But again, as I said, if you can give of yourself, that constitutes probably what love really is.
Sharing with one another how your feelings are towards each other, I think it's very important. You tell her you love her every day. So I have to keep remembering that. Yeah.
I think honesty is just a big factor in not being selfish. Just being able to give of yourself. And that's difficult, because everybody has their own ways of doing things. But I do think just being honest and being there for each other is such an important factor. I think the loss of my grandchild, I not only mourned for myself, I mourned for my son and my family, and that still is a hurt. A loss of a child is just something that nobody expects. So I think that's probably one of my hardest. What helps me? I write to him. I have a little log that I write to Chandler, and I feel a closeness in that respect. So that's what I do. I write a little log. I think probably being a mother and having a family and being married for the time I am, 64 years, and as I said, just watching my family grow, you can't be any happier as a mother by witnessing all that. So I think that's probably what I would say. Dwayne and I both, every day, we read and insert from the Bibles. So I think, as long as you have a belief in God, that's so important, kids. It doesn't matter how you believe in Him, it's just knowing that you do in your heart, and you know if you are a good person. Mm-hmm. Again, to me, honesty is just so important, and to be giving. If you kids just give to each other and be supportive in family life, family is number one. Because people and your friends will be there for you, but they won't be there for you like a family will. So I think that's really important, guys, to just continue that, don't you, Dwayne?
Yeah,